Hey gang, so I wanted to talk about a couple points in chapter 13 and talk about the robbers and Huck. So in chapter 13, Huck and Jim hop on the skiff to try and escape the Walter Scott, which is sinking, and and then they find the raft, which is floating down the river in this big storm that's going on. And so Huck, in an instance of real morality and honesty, he tells Jim to keep floating down the river, uh, and he's going to go and try and find somebody who can help the robbers on the Walter Scott. He's unsuccessful. Well, he is successful. He finds somebody to help, but the wreck comes back, and it's indicated that they didn't live. But I think, this is another example of Huck really being such an honest character and a really likable character for his morality. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. The second thing I want to point out is sort of the irony of it. You would expect that Huck sees these robbers who are thinking about committing a murder, and he goes to try and, like, we would expect that he would just leave and he would not try to save them. When in reality, what he does is he trusts his judgment, and he tries to go and get someone to save them. So we have another real solid example of Huck's morality here. And then the other thing that I wanted to point out is that in chapter 12, we meet these characters, Jake and Bill, who are the robbers on the boat, and it's just another example of the evil world that Mark Twain has placed Huck in. We have these two characters who are robbing the Walter Scott, and then they're killing the third guy. And then I just think that throughout it all, we see Huck is really resilient. He wants to help them. He wants to save them. He doesn't want them dead, even though they are murderers. So there's some irony in that. And then the last thing that I just wanted to note about these characters is that it was a point pointed out by Fourth Hour today was that, Huck in the beginning, he's talking about Moses, and he's like, I don't take no stock in dead people. And he doesn't take any stock in Moses. And yet, when Bill is about to murder Jim Turner on the boat, Huck really doesn't want that to happen, and he doesn't want them to be murderers, to be killed. So I think we have a lot of irony going on here, and just another example of Huck being really resilient and really moral in an immoral world. So those are my thoughts on chapters 12 and 13. Very interesting chapters, but that's what I have for that.